Okay, boom. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this evening. We have a magnificent guest with us tonight, one who is going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration, and that is none other than the master life coach herself, Keandra Cash. How are you doing, ma'am?
I am well. Thank you. Thank you for having me. How are
Yes, ma'am.
you?
I'm doing great. The honor is mine. We met over a powerful event dealing with the panel of Dame Dash, and although you weren't assisting me the way you could have with my camera. I appreciate
Yeah.
meeting you nonetheless. Uh,
You
how
asked
did
for
you
my assistance. I provided it. If you need it further, you should have asked.
how did you come to become connected with the event?
Okay, so I currently work for our local housing authority here in Brunswick, and I run a grant called Jobs Plus. Jobs Plus is a $3 million grant that was given by HUD to the Brunswick Housing Authority to help public housing residents with transportation, childcare, all of their barriers to success, as well as paying their rent for 4 years. So that means
Mm,
you can go to work, you can make as much money as you like, and we pay your rent increase. Because HUD is going to a work to stay model. That means everybody in public housing has to have a job or be on disability. So Courtney Lucas is shout outs to Courtney. She in Nurturing Excellence LLC. She invited me to the event because she actually comes over to our location to run a family preservation class every
mm.
Tuesday at 12 o'clock. So she one day something told me I was sitting in my office, and normally what I like to do is get up and get out in the community and talk to my partners, talk to everyone, see what's going on, just showing my face and building that rapport. And when I stopped by one day, Courtney was like, you know what, I'd like to invite you somewhere. And she showed me the flyer. It was Dame Dash, and it was about STEM education and anything community. I'm all for it. So that's basically how I was invited to the event.
Wonderful. And it was nice meeting you, and shout out to the person who invited you. Now with HUD, why do you have such a love for the community?
Well, I do my background. Let's start with my background. I have
Okay.
a bachelor's of science in psychology. That track is
Mhm.
community and organizational leadership. I also hold certifications as a master life coach, a corporate life coach, a health and wellness practitioner, and also a spiritual mentor. And I was also certified as a supported employment specialist. Now, what that is, everyone knows what a life coach is. I don't have to really go down and do that rundown now because it's pretty, common these days. But as a supported employment specialist, I was certified by University of Georgia to help people that have mental health issues find jobs because a man that doesn't work doesn't eat. So, because you have those different barriers, such as any type of mental disability or a regular physical disability, I was certified and trained to help you find a job. So it's basically my background. That's where I came from. I worked for Gateway Behavioral Health. I started off my career there while I was getting my bachelor's degree, and it was always one of those things where like, what do the people need and how can I assist? Because I grew
Mm.
up here all my life. I was a praise dancer. I was a basketball player. Um,
Okay.
yeah, so it's like I definitely put my put work in here, as well as just different things that I would volunteer, like with Red Cross. I would do different things, and this was on my own time. This was nothing that no one had to pay me to do.
Mm.
So I found passion. I found a great love just being out, making sure that I'm able to motivate those residents. Like, I'm getting a lot of success stories here because with Jobs Plus helping them get into the work field, it's time to work. It's time to get stable, right? And I'm here to motivate you to do better. Like, don't continue to take a cook position. Let's get into shift management. Let's get into leadership. So, here's Royal Lifestyles. That's my business. And and it's transforming empowerment into leadership. So we're all about action.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, okay. And how can we support your business? Like how do we? Is it we go to a website, go to your social media?
Well, go to my social media and support me. I definitely am an influencer. I've been in a couple of movies. I was in The Color Purple.
Okay, okay.
Shout out to Oprah,
Yes,
Taraji,
ma'am.
Fantasia, Halle Bailey. Like I met them one day, and I felt like my life was changed, Josh. So just
Mm,
and my upcoming movie that I'm in is called Walk with Me, based on a true story. God gave me a revelation to start a prison reform to make sure that everyone that has served at least 10 years in prison will have a life coach in, that walk with them for at least 2 years after their release. So that's what I'm currently working on. And it seems like anything that I put my mind to, God just seems to bring those opportunities to me. So if I put it out in the universe, God said, oh, yeah, all right, I got you.
Okay, let's stay right there on the prison reform. How has that worked with with having the important having a life coach, and what is the value of having a life coach for someone who's been in prison for 10 years?
Having a life coach in general is an accountability partner. That's somebody that's all about action. Hey, we understand problems because we all have them, but what are the solutions? And one of the issues that I realized when it comes down to someone being released from prison, there are no resources that can help them. They can't get jobs because they have a record. They don't have a lot of supportive services. So what I wanted to do was say, hey, hire the state or the federal level, have them a life coach right there when they're released, walking
Mm,
them through getting a place to stay. I have a blood cousin that just served 10 years in prison. From the time that he was about 20, 21 years old, didn't know how to work a debit card machine. Imagine how
mhm.
embarrassing that could be. Imagine how you don't even know how to get a debit card at this point if you lost 10 years of your life. That's a decade. And how many cell phones that they make in
Exactly, exactly, exactly.
every 2 years? There's an upgrade. So imagine being behind 5 generations almost of technology. And that's another thing that we would do, making sure that they stay motivated, stay out of the system. It doesn't work for them. We all know it works against them. To
Mm,
reoffend and be back in the system. That's the whole point of the prison reform. We want to keep them out, get them the gateway treatment, mental health treatment that they need. Um, Keeping current on those types of things. They may need medication management. So
mm,
that's
mm.
that's just a phone call like, hey bud, did you take your medicine today? No, I didn't take it, or yes, I did. Thank you for checking on me. So I believe that we change one, we change all.
Okay, okay. Now, I just interviewed a woman, Miss Valerie Williams, who's from Brunswick as well, and I'm telling her, I said, all my nieces and nephews went to school there. My dad is from Brunswick, and I've never met people from Brunswick who have so many people from Brunswick who just taking over, doing this, doing that. What is it about the spirit of Brunswick that has everybody just energized and ready to motivated?
Because we're a small town. We're small. We have two high schools, public high schools. Everywhere in Brunswick takes 10 minutes to get there. So it's like reach out and touch someone. Let's come together. I mean, come on. We're like a family, how small we are. You know what I mean? So with Miss Valerie Williams, my dear friend, I love her. She's
Oh yeah.
a domestic violence advocate. And it's like, hey, let's stop domestic violence, which is a part of the prison reform because we're going to stop them from putting their hands on someone to stop them from going to jail, right? And now you're ruining your record. You're getting aggravated assault charges. That cuts out your ability to work for children. That cuts out
Mm,
your ability to work for the elderly. That turns around a lot of that you can turn down the opportunities for you in a small town that already don't have a lot. So hey,
mm.
let's get in line. You're motivating them to stay in alignment with their true path just so that they can be successful.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, now let's go back to you being an actor working with, The Color Purple, and then your upcoming movie. Let's go with the movie and the plot, the theme. What's the theme of the new movie, and how did that come about?
The theme of the new movie Walk with Me is based on a true story, and he served 15 years in prison. So I also knew him personally growing up in Brunswick. I heard the story, I knew the story, so I felt connected to the story. Um, I've also had personal interactions, just in at a friend's house. So it was like, hey, one day he got out, and I was a friend of mine, basically that knew that he needed help with casting, modeling, that kind of thing. And she's just like, hey, Cash, why don't you bring your energy to the set? Maybe they need some life coaching on the set, things of that nature. And I was like,
Mm.
sounds good to me because I'm always willing to serve. Our healing
Okay.
is in our service, right? So after the conversation, he liked me so much and he said, hey, why don't you just play a role where I come and talk to you about what happened to me? And that
Mm.
story, the movie is now iterated through our session in the movie. So I am totally excited. I play myself, Master Life Coach Cash. So it's not, and everything felt so authentic just on set because it's like, hey, it's good to see you. Where you been, right? Right? So it was definitely a great experience. I also became a great friend to him, life
Mm.
coaching him through certain parts of the movie that or the set that he was feeling those raw emotions. Like,
Mm.
whoa, this feels real. Again, like I'm reliving some of the emotions, Cash. I need you. I need your help. And I said, you gotta go through. You got to feel it go through. Let that be the motivation and the authenticity in the actual scene. Let's do it. So he hang up the
Mm.
phone, excited, and getting the work done. So I was a part of the project from beginning to end. So it's just it's not even about the highlight of me being in it, the story behind it and the movement that will follow.
Yes, man. And we are excited and looking forward to the movie premiere. When can we? What is the date?
The date, I don't have one, but you will get it because I want you to come. It will be in
Okay.
Atlanta, Georgia when we do. We're
Okay.
gonna have a movie theater. We're gonna have an after party after, so it's gonna be a great experience. And I definitely want you there to make sure you do some interviews. See what type of contacts you come up with. I need you there, Josh.
Yes, ma'am. Done deal. I will absolutely be there. Now, I wanted to ask you about the future plans that you have for your business and yourself.
All right. So the future plans that I have for my business. And it's always hard to talk about things that you have in the works, but
Yes,
for
ma'am. Yes,
me,
sir.
for me, I would say not only the prison reform, but just basically continuing my walk. I certify life coaches. I
Mm.
recently, and as a corporate life coach, I go into organizations such as group homes. Recently, I went into a group home and certified their staff from house parents to life coaches. So
Mm.
it's when you're dealing with at-risk youth, they don't want parents. They ran away from them, been neglected, abused. They need life coaching. It's time to and my program in particular is based on 5 areas that are very much needed that you need to check yourself in first. It's
Mm.
all about being authentic. You cannot become a life coach if you haven't dealt with or at least paid some attention to those areas in your life. And to reach out to me, a Royal Fresh Start and Associates Incorporated is my business. I do business as Royal Lifestyles for my life coach program. We have a clothing line. We have so many things coming in the works as far as jewelry, um, perfume, health, and beauty and health, as well as I would love to become a Reiki healer. So I'm looking to expand things that I've already built on. And I've been a life coach now, a master life coach since 2013. So
Mm.
I've been here for a while working on things, but more so I find organizations and I get stable. I ground myself. I've been married. I was married for 10 years and I have 3 boys, and they're looking at me like, hey, mom, like you're doing your thing, like but it's all about the healing process. So making sure that I heal before I step out. So I did a lot of work. I became a
Mm.
sacred woman. Queen Afu was my spiritual mother.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, I did her 12 weeks rites of passage. Every week we got into anything that we had to focus on for that week. Let's just say womb care. Let's just say just base your speech. not talking over, you know what I mean? People and your tone, working on your environment, things that are around you, keeping things organized, keeps your mental health clean. You know what I mean? So it's like I made sure that I did the work first because I wanted to be authentically standing in front of people, not projecting any of my past hurt, trauma, pain that we all have, we all carry, right? So I wanted to make sure I did the inner work first. So being, like I said, from a small town, it's like you really have a lot of work to do inwardly before you step out and try to motivate others to do the same.
Yes, ma'am. Excellent. And we're coming back to that point about the sacred woman. We want to get a follow-up question, but we have a quick 60-second commercial break for all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast. Thank you, Brother Nelson Ramos, for showing love. All of our YouTube family, thank you for every like, share, and subscription, as well as for each anonymous Cash App. We truly appreciate it. Thank you all very much. And we're coming right back to our guest, the one and only Miss Keandra Cash. One second. We are live with the People's Podcast. Street Premiere Media Production. He has a 4K camera and a drone. He does television and film editing. Please reach out if you need any of that. Sister Naima, Stay On Point Dance Academy. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country. Sister Miriam, ABC I Love Me children's book and coloring book. My father's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ. My two books, Cleopatra, which is a children's book, and No Father, No Excuse, both of which are available on Amazon.
Ooh.
Okay, boom.
Love that. Love that.
Thank you very much. Please let us know what city you all are watching from, as well as if you have any guest suggestions, put those in the comments. I wanted to go back to you. First of all, how can, once again, your social media?
Keandra Cash, that is spelled Keandra, Cash with the Kash. That is my Instagram page. And you can also find me on Facebook, same thing, Keandra Cash, but Monet at the end, Monei.
Okay. Now, break down what a sacred woman, the 12 steps, what is the purpose of it, and how did it personally affect you?
Wow, the purpose of it, like I told you, is all about sacred healing. Focusing on those things that we need to, as far as your diet, your mental health. So we did meditation, we did breath work, and every week, as I stated, we worked on a specific gateway. We went through 9 different gateways, and we went through an ascension over at the Renaissance Hotel in California. And we met up, and I ascended through what they call Ta'ert. Ta'ert focuses solely on your food, and what you eat is what you become, right? And it taught me a lot of self-care. Like don't feel bad about paying attention to those things. And my boys, I have a 17-year-old, top in the state of Georgia, Kavon Hill. Y'all be on the lookout for my boy. He'll be receiving some offers. He's like top 13 in the state of Georgia right now. In triple jump and track. But
okay.
Yeah, like he's doing amazing. So he's going into his senior year. My middle son, Iron, he's playing AAU basketball, keeping my boys busy. My 8-year-old plays soccer. He just had an undefeated season. So they used to come up to me like, "Hey, Mom, don't say that, or you raising your voice, or well, look at this, and what do you think about that?" They were walking with me. They were like in the journey with me, making sure that I paid attention to those things that I needed to work on. So I needed to do the inner work to make sure that, hey, God, when you bring me forth to start my process of being an entrepreneur, more so in the community, not just at work. I'm a veteran as well, by the way, guys. I got a lot going on. Like, listen. So it's like working on myself was a plus with my kids, and they watch me heal. And healed with me, right? So that Queen of Fool was just so, in her book, becoming like a divine feminine. And divine means spiritual, divine means sacred, divine means holy. It means love and compassion and patience and all of those things. And I wanted to embody all of them. You know what I mean? So it's all about becoming whole. And that's why I joined her Sacred Woman program.
Okay, excellent. Shout out to the Sacred Woman program. And once again, shout out to Brunswick, Georgia. I'm meeting so many people from my father's hometown. and it's incredible to see you all doing the amazing things that you do. We have a question for you. What is your favorite album of all time?
Whoa, favorite album of all time. Gosh, it's so controversial right now, but I'll have to say Championships for Meek Mill. Only
Okay.
because I just I don't care. I have to be real. That was one of my greatest albums. Like I found so much healing in listening to the inner city trauma. You know, the issues on the
Mm,
inner from a guy that went through the inner city and not being in such a large city, understanding like, whoa, where we might be okay. You know, like we might be doing a little. So it gave me more motivation, more confidence. Like, hey, I'm a champion. You know what I mean?
mm,
Like I need to get out here. I need to make sure that I do the work because it's gonna
mm,
show, right?
mm.
And when it shows, it grows. And now you're able to touch one, teach one, you know, and so it's just all about staying positive, man, and just really doing the work.
Wonderful. Yes, ma'am. And I want to thank you on behalf of myself and my family and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast for your continued work and your great work. We look forward to you coming to Atlanta. Shout out to your sons, all of them. Make sure we salute them, let them know your whole family, but shout out to your sons. Okay, wait, what's the name of the school? Because my nephew used to play basketball at the private school. What's the name of the school in Brunswick?
Which school are you referring to? We have two public and a few private.
So he
The
went
one
to
my
Glenn
son
Academy. He went to Glenn Academy. He went to Glenn Academy. He went to Glenn
Brunswick
Academy.
High,
Brunswick
alumni
Academy.
2003 for myself, Pirate.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
So yes, he goes to Brunswick High School, the home of Darius Slay as well, and we met him
Seriously?
at. He hosted our first home track meet, so my son was
Okay.
able to meet him because my son Kavon Hill is right now the second in Brunswick High's history in triple
Go
jump.
ahead. Good.
So you know what I mean. So I had to get a picture with Darius, like, hey, because Darius ran track too. Of course, we all know that guy's fast.
See, I didn't know he ran track. His mother, everybody's connected to my family. His mom's was cool. My cousin, everybody's all Brunswick is. Kwame Brown went to school with this one and that one. Everybody in Brunswick is tight. I love that about
Yes.
everybody in Brunswick representing. But yes,
Yes, they
ma'am.
come home and they show big support. So I love that.
Beautiful. Well, this is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off of the People's Podcast. Thank you again, Miss Keandra Cash, and let's promote this movie and let's make it happen.
That's right. Walk with me coming soon. Check it out.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you all for watching. Good night.
All right.